Hey, everybody. Welcome back. My name's Mr. Reality. I'm joined with psychic medium Liz Cross. How are you, Liz?
I'm great. Can you tell us when your class starts, please?
Oh, yeah. I teach a remote viewing class, temporal awareness perception remote viewing. It's going to start February 6th. If you're interested in learning any type of remote viewing, the benefit of tap remote viewing is it covers personal protection, it covers dreams, it covers a lot more things that other courses don't. Plus, it's 6 weeks, 24 hours of training, and it's only $5.95. It's really fun. Everyone should sign up if they're not interested. And if they haven't done it, that's fine.
Wait a
Remote view
minute,
it at
wait a minute, wait a minute.
gmail.com is how you reach me if you want to.
Stop. $595?
It's very inexpensive for the training that you get. It's under, $600. I'd like it to be fair, like it to be affordable. If anyone's interested in payment plans, we offer that too. But it's very fun. Everyone that takes it thinks it's
Oh
great.
my God. Those courses are thousands of dollars.
Some
Thousands.
courses like are three days and like $1,000. Mine is like 6 weeks
I
and
know.
less than
I
it's
know.
crazy.
It's a good deal. It's a good deal, guys. And I wouldn't miss out on that good deal. Okay, so sorry about that. If they want to get in touch with you, where do they email?
Remote view it at gmail.com. You can find me on YouTube, Reality Forecast, and you post it on your Patreon. If you're not following Liz on Patreon, go to patreon.com/remote viewing and beyond. And you asked for questions for Governor Ron DeSantis of Florida. So I thought we could jump into those this morning.
Yes, I have him here. And, I saw the news this morning. They're like, the biggest failed campaign. I was like, oh God, let me switch the channel because I don't want any information. So,
Yes. Turn the channel, right?
absolutely.
How is Mr. DeSantis feeling this morning?
He feels like a failure.
Why?
Why do you feel like a failure? Because he dropped out of the race.
Well, everyone drops out of the race until they win.
Everyone drops out of the race until they win. No, he really thought he was going to win.
Why does he think that? Did someone tell him that?
Just someone, yes, he had a team of people that talked him into running. They
Ah,
put a lot of money behind him, and it was a failed campaign. Did you run out of money? Yes, he did. Very early on, actually.
what's the root of your biggest fear and insecurity?
What's the root of your biggest fear and insecurity? Not being liked.
What does that stem from?
What does that stem from? Um, did you have problems in school? He had a lot of problems in school. Um, he likes to be likable, right? That's one of his mental challenges, his psychological challenges that he sets for himself. He thinks that he can win over anyone, and he's done that since he was very young. But just remember, these are today's personal thoughts, feelings, and opinions. They'll probably change tomorrow.
Right.
Um,
And this is for entertainment purposes only. Please do not hold everything we say as legal binding documents.
right. Yeah, exactly. Liz said, Ron, yeah. But no, that's one of his things. Like he's very malleable. He knows how to maneuver around people. And so this whole thing of a failed campaign, it's really, really made him assess how likable he is.
Was he influenced by others to drop out of the race, or did he just see I'm out of money?
Were you influenced by others to drop out? No, he made that decision. Did you want to drop it? He wanted to drop out much earlier on in the race, but whoever this team of people that are pushing him, they wanted him to stay in, and they gave some more money.
Has he maintained a friendship with the front runner in the Republican nomination?
Have you maintained a friendship with her? No, he can't stand. I can't stand him. He just said he's really angry.
Does he feel like the Republican Party supports the front runner in the Republican campaign?
Do you feel like the Republican Party supports the front runner? No, no. But who's the front runner? Trump is obviously they're scared of him. I mean,
Well,
they'll vote for him
we'll
to
talk
save
about
their
that
job.
fellow in another interview. We don't want to bring
Yeah.
him in, but
Well, hold on. What he's saying is actually, probably some truth bombs here, which is most Republicans are scared of Trump. And then he's saying they'll vote for him just to keep their jobs because they know if they go against Trump and in their own personal campaigns, they're going to lose. Interesting take on that.
right. But Trump isn't really a Republican candidate. He's more like the anti candidate. And I feel like that's why all of the ire is forced his way because the Republican Party doesn't really want him running either.
Does the Republican Party want Trump running? No, he says no. They want him out. He's a disruptor and he makes them look bad. Why does he make the Republican Party look bad? Because he just says what he thinks. He has no filter, no consideration for anyone else.
He's a disruptor, he's the anti candidate. Is President Trump the Antichrist?
Is President Trump the anti? He's like, I don't know. He shrugged his shoulders.
What are his political plans post this upcoming election? Just going to go back to working the governorship?
Are you just going to go back to working the governorship? No, he doesn't want to be in politics anymore.
Does
Did
he
it?
want to be a sports commentator?
Did you, did you want to be a sports commentator? No, he wants to retire. I mean, he's got plenty of money. He doesn't need to do this. So let me ask him this question because this is something that really kind of disturbed me. Um, they were making fun of your height and they were making fun of your shoes. Well, I mean, how do you feel about that? It's disgusting, he says. There's so much more to me than my appearance. And that was very hurtful for him.
Does he see himself as the vice presidential candidate if he exits the race now?
Do you see yourself as the vice presidential candidate if you exit the race now? Absolutely not. If Trump asked you to be the vice president candidate, would you do it? Ooh, I would think about it.
Do you believe your presidential run damaged your own personal brand?
Do you believe your presidential run damaged your own? Yes, absolutely. He's now got to rebuild. That was a good question.
Um, who would make the best president in your opinion?
Who would make the best president in your opinion? What's her name? The lady.
Nikki Haley.
Haley. He likes her.
What does he feel about the current president of the United States?
What do you feel about the current president of the United States? He's gone. Mentally, he's gone.
Has he had any interactions with him in the last 3, 5, 6 months that would make him believe that? Or did he hear it from someone?
Have you had any interactions with him in the last 3 5? No, not really any like real interactions. You can just tell, he says, when you see him on or behind the podium, he's just a disaster, he's saying.
What does he think the implications are of the Democrats running a 44-year career politician for his fourth presidential term?
What do you think about the Democrats running? Just a reminder, folks, these are questions from the audience,
Right,
not
there's audience
reality.
questions.
Okay, I just want to make sure they know that. Sorry, repeat that question for me.
What does he think the implications are of a 44-year career politician running for his technically fourth presidential term?
It's terrible, disgusting. He wants some younger people in.
How are you addressing Florida's current crises, and what do you feel is the most important crises facing the state?
What do you think is the most important crisis? Migration, migrants. It's a real problem, he says. We're getting them out of here.
How so?
How so? Bus tickets.
Why is it a problem for the state?
Why is it a problem for the state? Well, they just can't cope. They can't support them.
What actions are you taking for the housing crisis and insurance issues in Florida?
Ooh, that's a good question. What are you doing to for the housing crisis? I mean, that's a big hot button issue right there. And what are you doing about it? He doesn't know. What are you doing about the insurance? They're going to try and make a deal to have, excuse me, not 100% insurance, but a percentage of insurance. So, companies are going to be spoken to and invited to come and sort of invest back into Florida, bring their businesses back, but maybe you're only allowed to insure up to like 80 or 60%. Now that right there is really big
Going to
because
devalue the property values too if you can't get the full amount.
ooh, it will devalue the properties if you can't get he's aware of that. He's aware of that. Now, just to put this little tidbit out there, because I talk about these investing groups that I'm in all the time, and the big wigs self-insure. Okay. So whereas everybody's getting these higher bills for house insurance this year, car insurance legally you have to have it on the road. If your house is paid for, you don't legally have to have, in most states that I'm aware of, house insurance. But a lot of these really savvy money people are self-insured. So they have a separate fund that they contribute to every month, and they make sure that if they had to completely redo the cost of their home, that amount of money's in there. So they're not paying six, eight, $10,000 a year to insure their properties.
How do you personally feel about the homeless crisis and what are you doing to help it
How do you personally
in
feel
Florida?
about the homeless crisis? It's terrible. It's out of control. Do you feel that you were like taking on this campaign really took you away from the issues in Florida? Absolutely. They've gotten much worse since he's been distracted doing this. And what are you doing about the housing, the homeless crisis? He's like, there's not much we can do. Just try and, set up organizations to help them, but you can't physically catapult people off of the street and put them into housing. There's no room for that. Since COVID, let me ask this question. Since COVID, millions of people have moved to Florida. That's correct. And it's absolutely saturated with people down there. Yes, it is. Have you found that the schools can see they're at full capacity down there now? He
How
can't
are you
cope.
going to do about the school capacity?
What are you going to do about the school? They're having to rework new schools in the budget to accommodate all the people that have moved there.
Here are some questions about your soul path journey. What incarnation is this for you? We might have to contact your higher self to find that out.
Is this for you? He's an old soul. He's around 800
And
uh
what
humans.
ascension level would he be at?
What is yours? Now he's actually quite high. He's going into the higher threes. Now that's quite significant because we don't often find that. Most people are hanging around in twos and low threes. He's actually quite high into the threes.
Does he practice any meditation or manifestation methods on his own?
No, but he does pray. Do you meditate? Well, he considers meditation prayer.
And is he very honestly religious?
Are you on it? Yes, he is.
What are his thoughts about the actually banning books in Florida? People asked, and I don't know what the circumstances are, but what's his motivation behind banning books?
What's your motivation? I don't know what that's about. What's your motivation behind banning books in Florida? It had to be done. So I don't know what that's about. And before you all start writing comments, it's better. The less we know is actually better. okay, when it comes to doing this type of reading.
What
So he just said it had to be done.
okay. What motivated him to want to be president?
What motivated you to want to be president? He really wasn't that motivated. It was the team behind him that said he was needed. We need you to go up against, excuse me,
Did he
to
get
go
any
up
else any big donors that then dried up or any promises that were
a lot of,
forgotten?
yes. Oh my God, that was a lot of false promises, a lot of hype around him being president. Did they want you because they wanted you to run against Trump? Yes, primarily. They didn't think Trump was going to be a winning player in the race, so they wanted to secure and make sure they had a backup plan. And how do you feel about that now? He said I was duped all along.
What does he feel, and this is his own thoughts, opinions, motivates Donald Trump to run for president again?
What do you think motivates Donald Trump to run for? He's unstoppable. Now that's his own personal
That's his
thoughts.
own thoughts and opinions.
Yeah,
Who's
that's
his
not.
favorite president?
Do you think he would make a good president? No, absolutely not. He's too hot-headed. He doesn't think clearly.
No, who is his favorite president among all the
Oh,
presidents?
who is your favorite president among Ronald Reagan?
Uh, what are his views on education reform and teachers' salaries in Florida?
He's trying his best in teacher salaries. He's trying. He wants to keep them. They're leaving the state, apparently. He's trying to keep the essential people in play, but people are moving. It's too expensive down there now.
What is his perspective on gun control and Second Amendment rights personally?
Perspective on gun control. Guns are necessary. And what is your perspective on Second Amendment? He fully supports the Second Amendment and he believes guns are necessary.
Does he hunt? Do any hunting?
Do you do any hunting? Not anymore. Not lately.
What does he think about the CBDC or, I don't know, cryptocurrency in general?
Scam.
Does he have any cryptocurrency?
Do you have no, absolutely not. He says I'd throw all that in the trash.
um, how would he ensure the protection of digital privacy?
Ooh, that's a good question. How would you ensure the protection of digital privacy? He can't ensure of it. He can't ensure it, but they're going to have to pass laws around data and privacy. I feel like those laws are in the works. People should not be able to just type in somebody's information and everything pops up. That needs to be stopped.
What does he intend to do to support small business and entrepreneurship within the state?
That's a good question because a lot of those tourist businesses are small business. What do you do intend to do to support small business during this time? They have to help themselves. So that doesn't sound like he's really going to support them. Are you going to keep attracting tourism? Yes, we do. We keep, but what's this thing about you and Disney? He doesn't like, there's this whole thing about Desantis and Disney.
There is a thing about them. What are you going to do to tighten the wraps of Disney or around Disney?
What do you, because Disney brings a lot of money into your state. I'm aware of that. So what are you going to do about it? I'm going to stop them in their tracks. What do you mean you're going to stop them in their tracks? From pushing an agenda. So he says they're an entertainment company. They're supposed to be supporting children and families, not pushing an agenda onto little kids. And he's very against that.
What is he going to do about the opioid crisis?
What are you going to do about it? We're doing the best we can. They're tightening up the controls. And I'm like, come on, how can you tighten? You're like Miami for crying out loud. I mean,
Right.
that stuff's coming how are you going to tighten the controls? I mean, they're increasing special agents and special forces. I mean, the broad stroke, answer that I'm getting here is we're doing the best we can. That's what he keeps saying. We're just
How are
doing.
his hands tied from doing the best or what he liked to do?
How are your hands tied? It's tied up with money. There's only so much money that's available. And I'm saying, but what about the fact that there's so many people in a certain age bracket down there? Does that hinder Florida in any way, shape, or form? No, he actually thinks that's good for Florida. They have money and they vote.
How
That's
is he going to reform the criminal justice system and jail overcrowding?
How are you going to reform the criminal justice system? Here we go again. We're doing our best. Spoken like a true politician. How are you going to? They're going to have to build more jails. But again, this is all very costly. Does Florida have a lot of excess money? No. As Sage just told me, none. We are broke.
What does he think the long-term consequences are of a broke Florida?
Ooh, does that mean you're going to bring in state income tax? No. What are the long-term consequences of a broke Florida? It's almost like, well, when I'm out of here, not my problem. This is a long-term problem. And he thinks you got to kick the dregs of society out. They're costing too much money in police and healthcare, the
As
drugs,
in how?
yeah, the street people, the non the people in his own personal thoughts, feelings, and opinions that are not contributing to society. He says they got to go. They're costing taxpayers tons of money.
What does he want to do with the aging infrastructure of Florida?
What do you want to do with the aging infrastructure? Well, it all has to be renewed, but you got to have money for that, and they're going to have to raise money somewhere. Are you going to raise taxes? Yeah, through property taxes.
Has he seen any federal funds from the Build Back Better campaign?
Have you seen any federal funds from the Build Back Better? A little bit, yes.
What does he propose we should do to improve transportation systems?
What do you think we should do to build back the transportation systems? The whole system is a mess, right? The amount of migration down to Florida during COVID was too much too fast. And the roads are suffering, everything's suffering to accommodate this amount of people. The growth was not slow. He's telling me it was too fast, just too soon. They couldn't even collect money to reinvest into the infrastructure over a period of time. It was like, bam, he's telling me, bam, here they all come in their millions. And they snapped up all the property. And do you think Floridians who are born and raised there can actually afford to live there? No, they cannot. They're being forced out. And so are your essential workers. So are the workers that are needed for the tourist industry. They're also being forced out of the state because they can't afford to live there. And I'm saying, but couldn't you put a stop or at least put some sort of fine or something in place to stop people from moving there? He said it was too late, Liz. It was too late. They were coming. We didn't have we couldn't see this coming. This was beyond the normal, retiree migration. This was, we are hit. And they snapped up the land and they built property all over it, and the infrastructure cannot cope. And neither can the transportation system. The roads are choked.
What are your personal views on space exploration?
Ooh, what are your personal views on? He doesn't see any need for it.
Overpopulation. Send them into space.
Yeah, right. That's where they could ship everybody.
Yeah,
Right.
the moon.
Kid, will you ship everybody to the moon? He's laughing. He's like, go away, Liz. That's not even funny.
Here's an if then statement. What policies would he have liked to put place if he were elected president?
What policies would you have put in place if you were close the border immediately? Stop that nonsense. He says that would be closed, guarded. He's showing me like razor wire at the top of it.
Yeah, those
That
Canadians are overflowing.
right, right. Keep the Canadians out. Oh, poor Canadians. No, he says close the border immediately and then work on finding solutions to deal with the people that are already here. Would you have offered amnesty? No.
Well, thank you very much, everybody, for your questions. Mr. Desantis, thank you very much. And get out there and vote.
Yeah, well, did you see the Mickey Mouse meme where they used his face? Everybody should look it up because he and Mickey Mouse are at war, right?
It's a battle.
It
Who's going to
is.
win the
I
war?
don't know. I don't know too much about it, but I just know I saw they made him out to be Mickey Mouse. I mean, oh, it's sad. Did you see that meme of them making you out to be
No, I didn't see
Mickey
it.
Mouse? Yeah, I'm asking Ron DeSantis, and he says, I'm disgusted by that. And now he's just shut the door and left. Okay. Bye. All right. Well,
Bye,
thank you.
everybody.
He's gone. Bye.